All right. Well, I think I am all pooped and ready to go here on Friday, July the 10th. Yes, I should be. I've napped. I've pooped. We discussed that. And I should be more rested because I haven't been to Parks and Rec in the last 2 days. Hello, ma'am. Yesterday was rain. Today was more rain. I kind of thought that. Well, I kind of. It's the weather, you know. You look in your app and you see at one point it'll put rain in the forecast, and then it'll take it out, and then it'll put it in and take it out, and put it in and take it out until it's done with you. That's the way it works. Because at one point I saw that there was supposed to be rain pretty much all the end of the weekend. You know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then it was only really showing rain on Thursday. So I was like, well, I mean, Thursday it might rain. I don't know if I'll go to Parks and Rec Thursday. But Friday I think was looking okay until this morning at, I don't even remember what time it was. It was maybe 6, a little after 6. Because I was doing the online grocery shopping or online, personal shopping, whatever. I got to shop for a kitty this morning. That was kind of exciting because I was running around with the little cart with the totes in it. And I was all the way over in like HBA, like picking up toothpaste and stuff. And it's like, then it was like, go get some cat balls. And I'm like, okay. And then it was like, get this little cat toy on a string, and then get this little cat toy on a string. So somebody got a new kitten or something. I don't know. But I got to shop for a kitty this morning. That was kind of nice. But then it's like I was over grabbing some shrimpies for somebody else. Maybe the same person. Who knows? And it just like, I heard it hit the the roof of the building. And me and one of the other associates kind of looked at each other from across the room, across the produce department. And we're like, is that rain? And I was like, yeah, it sure as shit was. It just kind of like came out of nowhere. I saw a couple of old associates in the store this morning, and they were talking about, they were heading to the store, and but at the other end of town, like the sky was nice and pink and purple and, just looking like a beautiful sunset. And then by the time they got across town to the store, the sky was like black, like they saw this huge wall cloud moving in, and it looked like night out there, And it was like, so there was a pretty hellacious storm this morning, and it was still raining when I got off at 7, so ended up not going to Parks and Rec today. I am getting headbutted in the titty. Hello. By Miss Ma'am here. Miss Minx's, ma'ams. I'm sorry I didn't buy you any toys this morning, but, I mean, looking at this pile that Mom has left on the floor for you. Because I never pick it up, When Mom's here, she likes to, throw the toys, and Minx catches them, and, all that fun stuff. So Mom likes to play with Minx while she's here. And Mom was here last weekend, last Saturday. She came to town for something. I can't remember. But then, of course, finding out that Lawsuit Hair was closing, that's her soup guy. The soup guy was closing. She ended up, I ended up messaging him, and, he ended up making some soup so she could have some Saturday. And then he said it worked out because he when I was talking to him on the phone, he said that he knew she liked that meat medley, and he's like, I'll figure out something. And then he ended up, he was telling us that day when we were there, he said something about making a roast, and he's like, I don't really want to make a roast. And then he's like, well, now I have an excuse to. So I think, so he made a roast to make some soup for Mom. And then I think he said he had a guy coming in that night to have dinner, because he did dinners too. But Mom and I never did a dinner there, but we always intended to and never got around to actually doing it. But they're a little bit little bit fancier, a little bit fancier food, a little bit fancier of an experience, you know. But we ended up, sitting there. There was a couple of guys that came in to look at the space to see if they wanted to, rent it for their business or whatever. But after they left, he was just sitting there. He was kind of putting some stuff in boxes or taking stuff out of boxes and, dusting some stuff off or whatever. But then he was just like sitting there and chatting with us, So, but Mom got her soup, so she was here last weekend. I can't remember. She came to town for something and to get soup, of course, since the guy was. I think he opened up just for us, so just to feed us, so that was nice of him, But yeah, so I should be more well rested since I haven't been to Parks and Rec the last 2 days, and now going into the weekend, and then next weekend, Mom's coming to pick me up Friday, so I'll probably have to do my question of the week early. Because I'm not going to take my stuff down to her place. So hopefully I get it done early because she's coming to pick me up Friday. Of course, she won't come to pick me up until 4 p.m. So, because her and Carol are going to Boonville for Carol's birthday. They're going to go stay at the casino and do a little bit of casinoing. But, Mom... Her kitty Cinnamon, you may remember the fluffy kitty. She's been in a few of the videos from probably Vacay Day videos more than anything, but she's a blind kitty now, so Mom likes to have somebody there to kind of watch over her, and make sure she didn't get stuck in the carpet or anything, because I guess she's gotten stuck in the carpet, but because Mom's doing so much driving, because she was going to come down, because I ended up not getting the day off. Even though I told her, even before Sean, Mary Lee, and I went to Hot Springs, I was like, you kind of need to decide what day you want to try to do this, because it's kind of coming down to the wire, and it's like, I don't know if I'm going to get the day off or not, and I did not get the day off. So now she's going to have to, come get me, I guess, go meet Carol, go to Boonville on Saturday, because she was going to have to do that all in 2 days, and that was going to be a lot of driving for her, because then she's going to, come back, drop Carol off wherever she drops Carol off, I guess, and then come back home, and then she wasn't going to take me back, bring me back here until Monday after work. So that's why I tried to take Sunday night off work, I was going to take Sunday and Monday, but ended up not getting it. So no coverage, because that was going to be a lot of driving for her to come get me, go get Carol, go to Boonville, come back from Boonville, bring me back down here, so now she's going to come get me on Friday to help alleviate some of that driving all at once kind of thing, and then she's going to have to bring me back, here on Sunday, like she originally planned. But yeah, next weekend I'm going to go spend the weekend at Mom's house. So, but I'm not going to take my stuff with me. So, I'll probably just be a lot of sleeping, like most weekends, just at Mom's house instead of here. But yeah, this weekend is probably just rest. My movie theater is still showing Obsession. I was talking to Steve from just something Steve said last night at work, and I was like, I keep thinking about going to see it, but it's like it's been out for so long. You would think it's going to be on a streaming service fairly soon. Of course, it maybe end up on one of the ones I don't have, but I keep seeing things online, people like referencing it and stuff, and it's kind of like, well, maybe I should watch it before I know too much. But we'll see how that works out. Of course, at the end of the month, it's Spider-Man. I don't know if Marilee's going to go see that one with me or not. But they didn't have the theater here in town. Yes, agree and close. They haven't added any 3D showings yet, and of course, 3Diva myself, I want to go see it in 3D. But with Supergirl, they didn't put 3D showings until like the last week or something, you know, like the week of release. Oh, there it goes. I was going to say my app isn't going to work. To look it up to see if they've added any 3D showings yet. Friday the 31st. No. Still just the grand screen. Of course, picking up my phone did remind me of something else I was going to tell you all while I'm doing my weekly update. I did get my heart monitor testicles results back, and everything sounds like it's going okay. They said actually I wrote it all down on an envelope somewhere. Where's that envelope? I don't know what happened. Oh, there it is. Because I told them that it was okay to leave everything in a message, so it's like I wrote it all down right here, because there was so much information that the lady was giving me all at once. Because I was kind of like, because I was going to message it to Mom, but they found some brief AFib and a flutter, but she said the Eliquis will help with that, so she didn't make that sound like a big deal. And then I didn't quite understand the other thing they said. I thought she said atropachycardia, but apparently maybe she said, because when I tried to search for that, it kept giving me tachycardia or something, so she must have said tachycardia, and I just couldn't understand it in the message. But she said the new medication they have me on, the metoprolol, because I just remember the end of it is LOL, LOL. I think it's metoprolol that they have me on, the beta blocker. She said that's helping because on the previous monitor that I had 250 episodes of this pterodactyl cardia, whatever it is. I had 250 episodes on the previous heart monitor, and on this one, I only had 18. So that sounds like a pretty good, pretty good improvement. Unless there was just something that I did on the other monitor when I was doing the other monitor. Maybe I worked harder. I don't know. Maybe I worked more days. I don't know. I did something that gave me 250 episodes or whatever this was. But they said if I had any questions, I could call and ask. Otherwise, they'd just see me in 3 months for the 3-month checkup, I guess, that, they want to do. I don't remember exactly when that is, but sometime. I don't know. So it sounds like everything's going okay, as it was, before. All my tests keep coming back okay, other than, I guess they keep saying maybe I'm wherever my numbers are for like diabetes, being diabetic, because we know I eat like shit. You've seen my taste test videos. Okay, maybe you haven't, I don't know. But I do a lot of taste tests. Mountain Dew, cookies, all this other, sugary good stuff. But they say my levels, or whatever my number is like on the line or something. So I don't know if they're saying I'm, because I don't know, maybe they are saying I'm pre-diabetic. Well, but I thought the numbers were like, because even all the way back, almost 3 years ago now, when I was in the hospital for the actual blood clots, because it was at the end of July. It's getting there, almost 3 years, right, I guess. But they were saying my numbers were just under what the line was. And apparently 3 years later, I'm still, not quite there. So to eat all the shit that I eat and to, make it to 46 years old and still be just pre-diabetic, or maybe, I don't know, or not quite pre-diabetic yet. I don't know. They say a lot of words, and I don't absorb all of them. I just need to take my camera and record so that I can look back and see what they actually said to me. But I guess I don't really pay attention to what they say to me. I just kind of they're like, take this new medication. And I'm like, all right. Whatever you say, man. I don't know. So I guess, but then everybody is like, what did the doctor say? Everybody wants to, ask questions. What did the doctor say? And I'm like, stuff? I don't know. Things, man. Stuff and things. That's a Walking Dead reference somehow. I don't remember exactly. Stuff and things. I just remember that being an online meme for a while from The Walking Dead. I don't know. But anyway, that's probably about all I've got for you. So speaking of questions, I guess I can answer this week's question. Let me just sneak it out. Oh, give it. Stop eating it. Let's see what this week's question on us. If you could bring back one canceled TV show, what would it be? Why? Just one? I have to choose one. If you could bring back one canceled TV show, what would it be and why? I'm going to try to follow the rules and just choose one. Because sometimes you'll see online, they'll ask a question like this, and people they'll name like 12 TV shows, and I'm like, you were supposed to choose one. Like, the rules are, that's what the fucking thing said. You choose one show. You don't get to bring back all these fucking shows. Pick one. These might be your top contenders, but you're like, whittle it down to one, because that's what it fucking said. Oh my god, I hate that all the time. It's like, no, you gotta choose one. Because of course I could say something like, get more seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which we almost got a reboot, but that got canceled, so that's disappointing. But I mean, Buffy had a good run, I think. So as much as I might love Buffy, and it is my favorite TV show of all time, I think I can put that to the side and just say, you had a good run, Buffy. Maybe someday we'll get a little bit more, get another reboot. That would be cool. I would love it. But especially if the right people are involved. There was another previous reboot they were talking about. I don't even know how many years ago. Of course, there's always the comics, but I don't even know if the comics is going to count in continuity if the show ever comes back. I don't know. I was going to say, I think even Joss Whedon said himself at some point, if the show were to get brought back, he was willing to throw all that comic continuity in the trash and just, start over fresh like it never happened. But now, any Buffy project is not going to include Joss Whedon, so I don't know if the new, I wouldn't think, I don't know, that's a lot of stuff that a lot of people never read, to take into account, but who knows. But yes, maybe someday. Oh, there was another, it sounded like they were going to maybe deal with one of the potentials at some point, which, I mean, I'll take anything within the Buffy universe. I don't even care if it doesn't have any of the original characters in it, but at least this we were supposed to be getting Sarah Michelle Gellar. She was the only name attached to it, and everybody was like, oh my god, they gotta bring back this character, blah, 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 blah. Sarah Michelle Gellar, that's all we were getting, at least season 1. If it had made a season 2, maybe somebody else. But, it was supposed to be about the new Slayer and her friends, and, Buffy was just going to kind of be there as like a Giles mentor kind of person, Still interested in how it would have turned out, but oh well, guess I'll never know now. But yes, Buffy, you had a good run. Love ya. You're not up for I say up for debate. You're not up for you can't win this race. Sorry. The two shows I immediately think of, my other two favorite shows that I wish got longer, there's Legend of the Seeker, which was a fantasy TV show, like they had magic. I think it was made by the same people who did Hercules and Xena. I believe it was the same people that did that. So it was very fantasy. Like there was the guy, the Richard with the sword, and it had oh shit. Like, I usually can think of her name off the top of my head, but today ain't gonna be the day when I'm trying to think of it. I wanted her to be, because she kicked so much ass in the show, as the Mother Confessor. Like, you can look it up, Legend of the Seeker fight scenes. Like, they're pretty badass. Legend of the, White Dragon, that's coming out. Well, I don't know, like, how, it may be select theaters, but... Legend of the... Nope, that's not how you spell that. Seeker. I was disappointed that she wasn't going to be Wonder Woman. Bridget Regan. But yeah, just like go to YouTube. I mean, you're already on YouTube. You're watching my video. Pause me. I'm not saying anything important. Go look up Legend of the Seeker fight scenes. They're badass. They even have Zed, that was his name, right? Zedekis Zulzarander. You know, I don't think he was part of the original cast, though. I mean, he was in season 1, but I don't think he was there from the first episode. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really exactly remember. But I remember seeing the commercials on TV. The TVs at work in the electronics department, and I thought it was a fucking movie, but it turned out to be a TV show. But but Zedekis Zulzarander is like, you know, a wizard. All I ever really remember him doing, he might have done some other things, but he would like throw fireballs and stuff, like, so that was pretty cool. And Bridget Regan, her character, the Mother Confessor, could like grab people and like look into their eyes, and like make them do stuff. She could like control them for a little bit. Of course, it started at the beginning of the series. Every time that she would do that, it would like weaken her, so she couldn't fight anymore. But if she was in that situation, you know, where she needed to like, you know, mind control somebody, she could do that. But then, of course, it only got 2 seasons, because after season 3, like some of the affiliates like dropped out, so they didn't have enough money to make a 3rd season. But yes, as the series progressed, she got more and more powerful. I don't mean spoilers, but I'm just saying we go from like kind of, if you know, putting this, you know, in X-Men terms, we kind of go for like a Phoenix, and then maybe start getting a little Dark Phoenix saga going on with her and her powers. So she becomes more, you know, to where she can like, you know, I think she gets to where she can like mind control more than one person at a time or something. Spoilers, of course, you know, but she does get more powerful as the series goes on, and she's already badass. I mean, like, it was a fun, like, exciting fantasy show that was just, I mean, badass, because the fight scenes were just so amazing, so great. So that's one of, like I said, it only got 2 seasons. And I wish it had more, because I need more badassery. I need more Bridget Regan kicking ass. And she's taken on some roles. I think right now she's on The Rookie, but she doesn't get to, like, you know, do anything cool on there. She's just kind of, I think she's kind of a shady character. I watched some of it with her character in it, but I didn't watch anything from last season. But, so that's the first show. And then the second one, there's one called, one of my other, like, favorite shows of all time. Even if they didn't stick the landing, it got 1 season, and it's called, it was a very dark, edgy show, because it was on CBS, and I don't think CBS is really known for being dark and edgy, but it was called Harper's Island. And it was a murder mystery show. all of these characters went to this island for a wedding, and then people started dying in a bunch of different ways. Very slasher, which is also a TV show, which is good. Which apparently is, there's been a spin-off, Motel Hell, and now apparently it's getting a second season, which I'm happy to hear. But the thing was, I remember them advertising this show, Harper's Island. Somebody would die every single episode, and it starts off with like very minor characters, characters we don't even meet. They just die, or we meet them as they're dying, basically. But then as the series progresses, like, the cuts, literally start getting deeper, because there's some shit that goes down. I believe it's like episode 4, because they knew they only, I think it was like a 13 episode series or whatever. So they get it going fairly fast. There's a couple of, I don't know, the first couple episodes are kind of filler, I feel like, when it's like kind of, bringing you into the world, bringing you into the characters, whatever. But still, there's some people that you feel like they're setting them up to be like main characters, and then no, they gone, and I believe it's episode 4. It's the episode with the rehearsal dinner or something, the wedding rehearsal. Something really fucked up happens, and some characters after that moment are like, oh no, that was just an accident, whatever, blah 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 blah. Like, it's a full-on fucking Saw trap. Like, what are you talking about? How can that be an accident? Some people try to like maintain the fact that like, oh, just that was a freak accident, whatever, blah 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 blah. And other people are like, no, that was fucked up. Like, the characters start being like, something is going on here. What the fuck was that? What is going on? So you kind of have at least some of your characters being smart and being like, no, that was fucked up, so the ball kind of starts getting rolling a little bit better. But it was an entertaining series, and that's what I'm saying. Like, as the show goes along, like, you start getting attached to these characters, and then, it was like Game of Thrones, like, they didn't care. Like, there's the line in there, if you've seen Harper's Island, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but the line, "You can't have me," is just devastating if you're a Harper's Island fan. It's kind of like being a Buffy fan and saying the line, "Your shirt," like, just these little snippets of lines that like break your heart all over again. If you know kind of situation. So Harper's Island was a really good murder mystery series. Even if the last episode kind of petered out, I forgive you, Harper's Island, because everything before that was so good. It was just, captivating, compelling, like, what's going to happen, next week, whatever, like, who's going to die, what's the mystery, what's going on here, and of course, they made you, like, question everybody, like, no one was safe, no one was, so it was really good, and it was thrilling, and it was exciting. It was an exciting TV show. If you've never seen Harper's Island, and you're into horror movies or murder mysteries or any of that sort of thing, if you somehow missed Harper's Island, like, go watch it. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. And now I'm thinking of a third series that never got really much of a chance. It was called The Gates. It was on ABC. When they first started the new soap opera, they were calling it The Gates, but now it's called Beyond the Gates. And all I could think of was this ABC show, because this sheriff moves into this gated community to be the sheriff, and he starts finding out there's things living there. There's a bunch of things. There's vampires. There's werewolves. There's witches. There's succubi. There's possibly maybe zombies? ? The season 1, what was supposed to be the season finale ended up being the series finale, there was a big like mic drop moment where it's like this character dies and then comes back to life. So we'll never find out exactly for sure. But people have suggested maybe this character was going to turn out to be a zombie because there was all these other things, in this gated community. So it was very, it was kind of like, how did they put it? Dark Shadows meets Desperate Housewives, kind of, because it was kind of like a soap opera, but it was also like there was enough like, fantasy, horror, not really horror, I guess, but the elements of all the creatures, all the maybe cryptids, I don't know, would you call them cryptids? We can get into that conversation again, I guess. I don't know. Maybe they're paranormal, not cryptids, I don't know. But so it was actually a pretty entertaining show. You can download the episodes. I know I've seen them on Amazon. You can buy the whole series, season 1. You can buy it on Amazon. I don't know if it ever got like a DVD release or anything. It was entertaining, and I would have taken more of that. So I guess these are like my 3 contenders for shows that I would want to continue. I mean, I'm sure they could take the I'm sure that they could take the thank you, the characters on the gates. Hopefully they had a plan, but it could have turned out to be one of those shows where it's like, the second season just turns into a big fucking mess, and like maybe it would have, maybe it wouldn't have continued the story in any interesting sort of way. Heroes, like they could have screwed the pooch. That's the saying, right? And I didn't even think of that one originally, but it is a pretty good show. Like, there's only 1 season of it, and it leaves you on at least one big cliffhanger. I can't remember. I'm sure there was probably more, so it's kind of frustrating, but it's an entertaining watch. There again, if you like, supernatural kind of shows, soap operas, Dark Shadows. If you like Dark Shadows, you probably like it. Any of those 3 things. So I didn't originally think of the gates. So we'll put once again we'll put that to the side with Buffy, and we'll keep it to my top 2 contenders with Legend of the Seeker and Harper's Island. Now, as much as I did love Harper's Island, I don't know. I think it might have turned into an anthology show where maybe we didn't follow the same characters the next season. There was also a series. Oh shit! What's that? It was called Dead of Summer, and it was kind of a teen kind of show, but it was fairly entertaining. It was about like kind of a haunted summer camp that these kids went to, or they were the camp counselors, and of course there was a mysterious pet. Was it Freeform? I think it was Freeform. It was entertaining. And they said if they came back for a season 2, they were gonna, have it be all new characters, all different characters, whatever. But then season 3 was gonna bring back the characters from season 1, surviving characters from season 1. So that's also a good show. While I'm at it, Dead of Summer was good as well. But we're putting it to the side and that's kind of what I'm thinking with Harper's Island is if they made a season 2. We weren't going to follow our same characters that we had in season 1, our surviving main characters in season 1. I don't know if they would have rolled back around to it. I mean, it's kind of like Slasher. Slasher is new characters every season. They kind of do the American Horror Story thing, where it's like some of the same actors, some of the same performers, but they play different characters in a different situation, a different masked killer, whatever, blah blah blah, and it's always entertaining. So I think Harper's Island could have maybe kept it up and been entertaining. continue to be entertaining. And maybe at some point they would have, even American Horror Story has brought back, the witches twice now, maybe. It's sounding like that's what they're going to do for the new season that's coming out later this year. Season 13, which I believe, I just saw today that's what they're calling it, American Horror Story 13. Which, okay, so I think the creative minds behind Harper's Island, if they were the same, kind of people like are the creative minds behind Slasher, could have made an interesting story every single season, even if we're not following the same characters all the time, or every season, So hopefully they wouldn't screw the pooch and make season 2 or 3 or 4 not as entertaining as season 1, because season 1 was really, really good, a nice little tight story to go on. But like I said, I have Slasher for that. Scream was a TV series for a little while. There's a bunch of like murder mysteries, or even just movies. I mean, I guess there's fantasy movies too, but I feel like, and I mean, there's sci-fi movies or sci-fi TV series. I guess, I don't know. There was just something, it's a nice medieval, like Legend of the Seeker was a nice, good medieval romp, and I don't feel like we get enough of that in entertainment. And like I said, I like the characters so much, and there was so much badassery going on. It was such a cool series, such a cool, sometimes there was an overarching story, like season 1 at least. I believe, I can't remember if, spoilers, but Dark and Rawl was like the main bad guy in season 1. Legend of the Seeker was just such a badass series that I feel like even if they weren't following the larger arcing story that was going on, they had good episodic. You can come in and out of the series and just enjoy it for the pretty fight scenes with the nice special effects. I don't know. I feel like, because I just watched Scream 7, so it's like I feel like I have enough. Like murder mystery slasher, like I said, Slasher is getting ready to come out with another season. They're not officially calling it season 7. It's Motel Hell season 2, but it's technically Slasher season 7. Devin Sawa, whatever. Apparently he's going to be in it. He went from the Chucky TV show to now being on Motel Hell. So I mean, I guess that piece of my soul is fulfilled, but Legend of the Seeker is just so good, so entertaining, so exciting, badass fight scenes, and I feel like it's something I don't get enough of. I'm sure there's movies out there, but it's kind of one of those, like, I don't know. If you've ever seen Hercules and Xena, like they could be serious, they could be, very badass, but then they would have these episodes that are just goofy and fun and stupid. And I mean, this, like I said, this was the same people who did Hercules and Xena. So, you get those episodes where, things are just fun and it's just like you just eat your popcorn and you just enjoy, what's going on. But then they also had the badass fight scenes no matter what. And it's like, it's just something I feel like is missing from my entertainment portfolio. And it's just, I mean, Harper's Island, as good as it was, would have just been another murder mystery. Whereas Legend of the Seeker gives me something different that I don't get all the time, always. I haven't seen the new Dungeons and Dragons movie with Chris Pine in it. I need to watch that, because that looks like it could be like the same, kind of the same thing, where it's exciting, it's entertaining, it's, thrilling, it's action-packed, but there's also like humor to it, whatever. But yes, I feel like Legend of the Seeker gives me something different, and I could watch Bridget Regan kick ass all day, every day. So, and then season 2, they get a new character, who is also just as badass. And she's kind of like their Emma Frost, because she kind of has like, she's kind of like, a bitchy kind of character. But it's like, she comes from a very, rough, I can't remember. Well, I don't know. If you go watch it, because it's badass. But I mean, even if you watch the fight scenes, you'll probably see her. She's the one in the red leather, with the little. They kind of look like dildos, to be honest. But they have these little things with they can shock you with these little things that they fight with. These little sticks that kind of look like dicks. But she's working through some things, She could have became a softer character in later seasons if they had kept going. So Legend of the Seeker just gives me something that I don't have in my life right now. And I want it, I need it, I have to have it. So if I could pick one show to continue, it would be Legend of the Seeker, and it would go on for 20 seasons, and it would just never end, and it would be amazing. So that's my choice, that's my pick. That is Legend of the Seeker. It wins, for sure. After much debate with myself. Much debate. This is probably like a 40-minute video. I don't know. My screensaver has tried to come on twice. So, but yeah, other than that, I guess I'm going to go enjoy my weekend. I might do a sketch. I forgot the other day, and it's like, I haven't got, since going to Hot Springs, which has been like a month ago, I have not got back on my schedule of doing a sketch and a question, a sketch and a question, a sketch and a question. So I might do a sketch for y'all while this one is working, because I'm going to have to put it through Corel. I already know I talked for too long. But other than that, have a good weekend, and I'll see you for what I see you. What else is new?